Hi, this is Jenna and Jenna's Coffee with Books Love Jenna, as in those books, they just love her, and I am here to do my August TBR. Before you say anything, please know that I know a couple of you have tagged me in some things, and I will do those. I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't had a chance. A couple of you are probably wondering where the wrap-up is for Books Love Everyone book group for Hannah Coulter and The Dirty Life. I haven't done it yet. I know I need to. And you're probably wondering where Good News is. I know a couple of you really enjoy the Good News videos, and I just haven't felt the motivation to film. I will though. It's the 15th, and for years and years now, I have put out my TBRs for the upcoming month, for the next month, as close to the 15th as I possibly can. So the 15th rolled around and I went, you know what? Just do it. So here I am. I'm just really in summer mode. I'm really in do what I want when I want to, and if I don't want to, don't do it mood. So yeah, I do really want to film this TBR though. So here I am. I am feeling a little bit out of the filming groove, but we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best. And all those other videos, those normal videos that I usually get out, they're coming. They're coming, I promise. I'm hoping that filming this one will get that ball rolling again. Anyway, let's talk about what we're going to be reading in August. So I think I have some fun plans for August. I'm kind of looking forward to this. No, I am. I'm really looking forward to this. No kind of about it. So first I'm going to talk about, well, I'll just mention two books that we're going to read for Books Love Everyone in the month of August. I won't say much about them really, because I am going to put out a dedicated introductory video for them. But if you want to read with us in the month of August, it's all about Dorothy Wordsworth. So we're going to read for our nonfiction pick, Dorothy's journals for Grasmere and Alfoxden. And for our fiction pick, we're going to read a fictionalized account of her life. I have read these and I love them. I have not read this and I'm really looking forward to it. More to come this week on those in a dedicated introductory video. So, the month of August is the Sealey Challenge. And I did the Sealey Challenge for the first time last year. It's a challenge where participants commit to reading a book of poetry every day for the month of August. Last year I did that. I made that commitment and I just nearly made it. When school started, I kind of lost it, but I very nearly made it. I think I read 20 or 25, somewhere around there, complete collections of poetry in the month of August last year, which I loved. I also committed to writing a poem every day, which I did do, 31 new poems that I wrote in the month of August last year. This year, I am going to again commit to writing a poem a day, but I am not going to commit to reading a book a day. I do have some books of poetry that I'm going to read. I'm going to commit to reading poetry every day in the month of August, but not a full book. I have 10 books of poetry that I want to read in the month of August this year. And some of them are quite long and dense and intense. So I'm not going to, I want to enjoy and I want to savor, and it's not going to be about the number for me. It's going to be about showing up every day to do the reading and to write a new poem. One of the courses that I'm teaching next year is 7th grade English. And I haven't taught 7th grade English at this school before. I've taught 7th grade writing, but not English. And traditionally they start with a novels and verse unit. Because I'm new to this course, I'm going to probably just stick to that. And as a result, I have a couple of books that I'm going to read specifically for that. 3 of them are books that I know that have been used with the class in the past that are new to me. I have not read them. I'm aware of one of them at least, but the other 2 are new to me. So one that's new to me is Red, White, and Whole by Rajani LaRocca. So I plan on reading this one. I don't know what it's about. I just grabbed these in a hurry at the end of the year. It says, I have 2 lives, one that is Indian, one that is not, but only in one place do I have my parents. Rhea feels torn between 2 worlds, school, where she's the only Indian American student, and home, with her family and her community. But Rhea's parents don't understand. She feels disconnected from her mother, or Amma. Although their names are linked, Rhea means star and Punam means moon, they are a universe apart. Then Rhea finds out that her Amma is sick, really sick. Rhea, who dreams of becoming a doctor, even though the sight of blood makes her woozy, is determined to make her Amma well. She becomes fixated on red and white blood cells, facing her fear and being the daughter her parents want her to be, because she has no idea how she can go on if the moon is missing from her sky. Well, that sounds intense. Again, this is a novel in verse, which I will be reading in preparation for that class. The next one that I'll be reading in preparation for that class is one that I've read other books by this author, but I've not read this one. So this is Margarita Engel's Enchanted Air, 2 Cultures, 2 Wings, a memoir. This says, Margarita is a girl from 2 worlds. Her heart lies in Cuba, her mother's tropical island country, but most of the time she lives in Los Angeles, lonely in the noisy city, and dreaming of the summers when she can take a plane through the enchanted air to her beloved island. Words and images are her constant companions, friendly and comforting when the children at school are not. Then a revolution breaks out in Cuba. Margarita fears for her faraway family. When the hostility between Cuba and the United States erupts into the Bay of Pigs invasion, Margarita's worlds collide in the worst way possible. How can the 2 countries she loves hate each other so much? And will she ever get to visit her beautiful island again? In her most personal and deeply moving work yet, Margarita Engel tells of growing up with 2 cultures during a time of cold hostility between nations, an almost war of words that shaped this sensitive young girl into an award-winning poet who enriches the world with words of a far more hopeful kind. All right, so again, novel in verse, reading it for August. And then I've heard of this one. I know what it's about, but I have not read it. This is Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. And it actually is so well known that it doesn't even have anything on the back telling us what it is about. So another memoir that I will be reading as a novel in verse. Then I have this one by Liza Klein Ransom. I've had it on my TBR for a couple of years now, and I'm finally going to get to it. Part of the reason why I haven't is because it's just so dense. It's so dense. I opened it when I first got it, really excited to read it, and then went, oh, nope. So now is the time. Now is the time. This is One Big Open Sky, and it says, 3 female voices narrate a perilous wagon journey westward that could set them free or cost them everything they have, in this intergenerational novel that explores the history of the Black homesteader movement. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then I want to reread this novel in verse as well. This is Call Me Athena, Girl from Detroit by Colby Cedar Smith. This has been a favorite read of mine since the first and only time that I read it. I read it as an ARC. And somebody wrote on here, exquisite. Oh, Ruta Sepetys wrote that it was exquisite. I agree. This is exquisite. This has really stuck with me. I want to reread it because I think it would be a great novel in verse read aloud to do with my class of all girls. But I don't remember content-wise if there are maybe some things in here that they may not be ready for. So, well, that they may be ready for, but that they may not be ready to hear their teacher read to them from the front of a classroom. So I want to do a reread of this for myself. A, because it's been years since I've read it, and I want to reread it for myself, but also because I think I might like to read it to them, but I need to know what's in it for sure. So those are books that I will definitely be reading in the month of August. And I have 5 others here that I would like to read just for me for the Sealey Challenge. This one, is it a play? Is it philosophy? Is it verse? I'm going to count it as verse. I want to read Antiggony, Oedipus, and Electra. And I have them in this bind up. And I have read Antigone and Oedipus before, but I've never read Electra. And it's been since college that I have read these. So I picked up a used copy so that I can revisit these. Looking forward to it. Extremely looking forward to it. I loved Antigone so much that I named our family cat Antigone. We called her Annie, but her name was Antigone. So looking forward to that. I want to reread Beowulf. If you haven't read this Maria Headley translation of it, it's really, really fun. And it brings this energy to Beowulf that isn't in other translations of it. So I really, really like this. On the back, it says, a man seeks to prove himself as a hero, a monster seeks resilience in his territory, a warrior seeks to avenge her murdered son, a dragon ends it all. So I'm looking forward to giving that another go. And then I read this last year, but I love it so much. I read it last year as a reread from previous years, but I really do love it. I'm going to reread Sir Gawain and the Green Knight with the intention of enjoying it for myself, first and foremost, but also maybe picking out a few parts for kids to work with, because this Simon Armitage translation is superb. It's superb. And then I really want to read these, but I don't want to read them. The Iliad and the Odyssey. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again. Yes, I'm gonna try again. If I don't finish them, it's okay, but I'm gonna show up for them in the month of August this year. I am. I'm really, really gonna give them a go. On a note that kind of corresponds to that, giving it a go, I have long felt that Emma was my least enjoyed Austen, and I'm rereading it this month, and I'm really loving it. I mean, I can no longer say I don't like Emma, because I'm really loving it. And so maybe it's just about time and place. You know, I know for a fact that enjoying a book is often about time and place. Who am I when I come to that book? And so maybe the Iliad or the Odyssey will work this time. We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up for it. And then I have some fun reads that I would like to get to. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get to. The ones that I just showed you, I am definitely going to be reading, but they're all poetry, and some of them are like quick one-sit reads. So although it appears that I've shown you a lot of reading, I really haven't. So here's a pile of possibilities of books that are really kind of calling to me that I think I would enjoy reading in the month of August. So I've had this Mariana Zapata on my shelf for a while. Last year I read All Roads Lead to Rome and really loved it. And then I read her other one that's really popular about the football player and didn't love it so much. I had also ordered this one because I loved All Roads Lead to Rome. Is that what it is? It's not Rome. All Roads Lead. I don't remember what it's called. Hey Lila, what are you doing? I don't remember what it's called. All Roads Lead Somewhere. And I really enjoyed it. And then I read the other one about the football player, and I didn't enjoy it. Football player and the Pixie Dream Girl, or Manic Pixie whatever girl. Didn't enjoy it, but I had also already ordered this one. Because I didn't enjoy that second one, I just kind of like went later. I think later is now. So this says, some things are easily forgiven, other things not so much. Lenny DeMaio made herself a promise. She was done thinking about him, done worrying about him, done reaching out to a man who clearly didn't want to be found. Too bad no one gave Jonah Collins that memo. So yeah, it's a romance, but I think summertime is a good time for me, and just like straight up romance. I have The Way From Here by Jane Cochran. This is definitely a summer read. This says, 3 generations worth of secrets. Will a cache of letters from beyond the grave unravel them all? Okay, I know that there are people out there who I really respect, who really dislike this like letters being found as a storytelling device. I love it. I absolutely love, like, these letters are found, these diaries are found, and this character in the past gets to speak to the characters in the present through these, you know, through this hitherto unknown information from deep inside this person's mind and heart. I love that kind of thing. So, growing up, the Anderson sisters could not have been more different. Susie, the wild one, had an adventurous life, while Camilla, Mills, followed a safer path. When Susie suddenly dies, oh goodness, Mills falls apart until she receives a bundle of mysterious letters from her estranged sister to be read in the event of her death. Each letter instructs her to visit a place special to Susie, not only to spread her ashes, but also to uncover some truths Susie has long kept hidden from her family. Their mother, Margaret, has secrets of her own. While living in swinging 60s London, she too made a decision about her life that would haunt her and reverberate through the generations. One family, 3 very different women. What choices and secrets connect them? In this novel of truth and lies, concealment and regret, Jane Cochran flips the looking glass to expose our true face, revealing the deep lines of deception that can run through families and how the people we love the most often have the most to hide. Okay, and then I have this one, which I'm going to prioritize. I might still get to this in July because I really want to read this, but I might not, so we'll see. This is The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. And it says, in the war-torn London of 1939, young sisters Hazel and Flora are evacuated from their home to escape the horrors of the Second World War, living with the kind Bertie Aberdeen and her teenage son Harry in a charming stone cottage along the River Thames. Hazel distracts her little sister with tales about a magical land called Whisperwood, a secret place they can escape to that is all their own. But the unthinkable happens when Flora suddenly vanishes. Shattered, Hazel blames herself for her sister's disappearance, a private burden she carries into adulthood. 20 years later, Hazel is in London working at a cozy, rare bookstore, but her tidy life is turned upside down when she unwraps a package containing an illustrated book called The Whisperwood and the River of Stars. There's more on the back, but I'm not going to read anymore. This was on a previous TBR, but I didn't get to it yet, and I really, 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 really want to, and that is Camilla Sten's The Bachelorette Party. I'm not going to read what this is about because I just want to kind of go into it without knowing much. I really enjoy Camilla Sten's thrillers, and so, yes, this will definitely be read in the month of August. Another one that's really a summery kind of book to me, like, look at that. I've read a lot of Italy books recently, but this, I guess this is France. This is A Northern Light in Provence, and it says, a woman leaves her coastal Greenland village to translate the works of a renowned provincial poet and finds her life irrevocably changed in this tender and romantic novel set in a French village. Ilse Erlund is a translator who lives in a house on stilts along the west coast of Greenland. Isolated and restless in her world by the sea, she convinces her publisher to pay for a trip to the country she has never visited but whose language she speaks fluently, France. Her mission is to translate the verses of Geoffrey Poe l'Abbé, a charismatic poet known as the last living troubadour of Provence. Upon arriving in the medieval hilltop village of Belle Riviera, I don't know, Ilse falls under the spell of the provincial way of life, captivated by the air, the sun, the vibrant spring colors, and the dulcet sounds of the dialect. Soon enough, Ilse is captivated by the poet, too. And she and Poe develop a daily rhythm and warm camaraderie, which is disrupted by the arrival of the poet's son, Frey. Though he has a fiancé back in Paris, Frey turns his attention to Ilse, and suddenly she is forced to learn another language, one her translation skills have not prepared her to decode. Where and with whom does her future lie? With an eye and ear attuned to the sensibilities of French life, Elizabeth Birkeland has created a love story about a woman forced to choose between the security of her quiet northern home and the possibility of the life of her dreams. Sounds complicated. And then I have Where the Wandering Ends, a novel of Corfu. They wondered if they would ever find their way back to the village, back to a life of meaning, back to each other. Corfu, 1946. In a poor Greek community, 10-year-old Marco is perhaps the poorest of them all, but it wasn't always that way. His grandmother once worked for the royal family where Marco's mother played alongside young Prince Philip himself. Now Greece is on the brink of civil war, and Marco's mother still clings to the desperate hope that somehow the royal family will save her own. As the war turns deadlier, Greece's queen, Frederica, takes a defiant stand against the communists, announcing that she will save her country's most innocent by opening children's villages. When the communist partisans erect camps of their own, children are ripped from their mother's arms, entire villages are emptied. Young Katerina has been best friends with Marco for as long as she can remember, cementing their bond by stealing scraps from her family's table to sneak to him. But when the communists reach their village, loyalties are tested as devastating secrets threaten to emerge. Katerina and Marco are separated just before her family flees on foot, and At their final goodbye, Katerina and Marco promise to find their way back to the village and to each other. This haunting childhood vow launches events that will take decades to unravel. Set among Corfu's picturesque lanes, hamlets, and villas, where kings, villagers, and saints all walk the same cobblestone paths, where the wandering ends reminds us of the tenacity of those who have lost everything and the enduring power of home. That sounds good. That sounds really good. I have 6 more. Of The Twilight Garden by Sarah Nisha Adams. This is the author of a book called The Reading List. The reading list was okay. It wasn't great. It was just okay, but I kind of like the concept of this one, so I'm giving it a try. It says 2 warring London neighbors unite to resurrect a neglected city garden in this quietly joyful novel. In a small pocket of London between number 77 and number 79 Eastbourne Road lies a neglected community garden. It was a beautiful thing once, a little oasis in a bustling city for neighbors by day and local foxes at twilight. Today it's overgrown and neglected, an empty patch of greenery lost to time. Once a sanctuary, the garden's gate is now firmly closed, and that's exactly how Winston at number 79 likes it. Anything to avoid Bernice, who has moved in next door with her young son. Their houses may share the garden, but Winston and Bernice aren't exactly neighborly. But then a mysterious parcel drops on Winston's doormat. It contains no note, only a bundle of photographs of the garden in bloom many years ago, vibrant with flowers, filled with people from every corner of the community. Is someone trying to tell them something? The seed of an idea is planted somewhere out there. A secret gardener made a decades-old promise to keep the community's spirit alive. Now it's time for the Twilight Garden to come out of hibernation. Told with warmth and spirit, the Twilight Garden is a love letter to the little acts of kindness that can change a life. It's a story of growth and community, and how when we dig in together, there's always hope for a brighter future. Okay. Yeah, I know why I got this. That sounds like a me book through and through. Very much looking forward to that. I've also got all of the millions of books I got from Book of the Month in the month of June. So these are June picks, but I'm gonna wait and read them probably mostly in August. I have How Freaking Romantic by Emily Harding. It says, Beatrice Nilsson is a lot of things. Feisty to those who love her, combative to those who don't, but most of all, she's the kind of person who will always fight for those she cares about. So when the marriage of her 2 closest friends falls apart, Bea storms the office of attorney Nathan Asher to tell him exactly what he can do with his divorce demands. Unfortunately, what should end with a few choice words soon spirals into uncharted territory when Nathan shows up at her NYU law office a few days later as a newly minted adjunct professor and her new colleague. Bea still hates Nathan, of course, but between weekly meetings and networking events, walking around Washington Square Park, and late-night pizza, that hate begins to feel a lot like something else. And as uncomfortable truths emerge about the divorce that started it all, she's faced with the impossible, choosing between her friends or, for the first time, her own happily ever after. So this will just be a fun, lighthearted summer read, enemies to lovers. We know the drill. Okay, I couldn't resist this one. This is The Compound. I've seen a lot of people reading it, and I have tried not to watch what they're saying about it. This one says, nothing to lose, everything to gain, winner takes all. Lily, a bored, beautiful 20-something, wakes up on a remote desert compound alongside 19 other contestants on a popular reality TV show. To win, she must outlast her housemates while competing in challenges for luxury rewards, such as champagne and lipstick, and communal necessities to outfit their new home, like food, appliances, a front door. The cameras are catching all of her angles, good and bad, but Lily has no desire to leave. Why would she, when the world outside is falling apart? As the competition intensifies, intimacy between the players deepens, and it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish between desire and desperation. When the producers raise the stakes, forcing contestants into upsetting, even dangerous situations, the line between playing the game and surviving it begins to blur. If Lily makes it to the end, she'll receive prizes beyond her wildest dreams. But what will she have to do to win? I might read this in July. I genuinely might read this in July. Did I say these were June picks? These are July picks. I might read this. I might read this right away. We'll just have to wait and see. And then I have The Other Side of Now, 2 Lives, One Chance to Get It Right by Paige Harbison. With a leading role on a hit TV show and a relationship with Hollywood's latest heartthrob, Meg Bryan appears to have everything she ever wanted. But underneath, her happiness is as fake as her stage name, Lana Lord. Following a tiny nervous breakdown at her 30th birthday party, she books an impromptu trip to Ireland, specifically to the village to where she and her late best friend Amy always dreamed of moving. When Meg arrives, the people in town don't just recognize her, they seem to know her. She quickly, reluctantly, realizes she has somehow slipped into an alternate reality. Whoops. One where she did move to Ireland as a teenager, one where she never got famous, and most shocking of all, one where Amy is alive and well. She just wants nothing to do with her. Oh. Despite her bewilderment, Meg is clear-eyed about one thing. This is a once-in-2-lifetimes chance to reconnect with a friend and repair what she broke, or else risk losing it all. And then I got Adriana Trigiani's The View from Lake Como. I have a hit or miss with this author. A couple of books by her I have really, really, really loved. For example, Kiss Me Carlo. I really enjoyed that one. And some of them I find extremely slow-paced and boring and have DNF'd. So it's either love or DNF for me and this author. But I'm taking a chance. I'm taking a chance on The View from Lake Como. So it says, Jess Capodimonte Barada is not living the life of her dreams. Not even close. In blue-collar Lake Como, New Jersey, family comes first. Recently divorced from Bobby Balancia, the perfect husband, Jess moves into her parents' basement to hide and heal. Jess is the overlooked daughter who dutifully takes care of her parents, cooks Sunday night dinner, and puts herself last. Despite her role as the family handmaiden, Jess is also a talented draftswoman in the marble business, run by her dapper uncle Louis, who believes she can do anything once she invests in a better wardrobe. When the Capodimonte and Barada families endure an unexpected loss, the shock unearths long-buried secrets that will force Jess to question her loyalty to those she trusted. Fueled by her lost dreams, Jess takes fate into her own hands and escapes to her ancestral home, Carrara, Italy. From the shadows of the majestic marble-capped mountains of Tuscany to the glittering streets of Milan, and on the shores of the enchanting Lake Como, the other one, Jess begins to carve a place in this new old world. When she meets Angelo Straza, a passionate artist who works in gold, she discovers her own skills are priceless. But as Jess uncovers the truth about her family history, it will change the course of her life and those she loves the most forever. In work and love, in art and soul, Jess will need every tool she has mastered to reinvent herself. Yeah. I think I'll like this. I think I'll like it. And finally, I have one that I have been wanting to read for quite a long time. I want to read it. I picked up a used copy of it from Better World Books, and I really want to read it. I want to start it, but I don't know if I'm going to read it. Like, I think I'll read it pretty slowly. It has very tiny writing and many, many pages. And I think that I want to read it with my physical eyes, not listen to it. And so I think it might take me a while, but I'm going to start it in August. And that is Here Be Dragons by Sharon K. Penman. This says, 13th century Wales is a divided country, ever at the mercy of England's ruthless, power-hungry King John. Llewellyn, Prince of North Wales, secures an uneasy truce by marrying the English king's beloved illegitimate daughter Joanna, who slowly grows to love her charismatic and courageous husband. But as John's attentions turn again and again to subduing whales and Llewellyn, Joanna must decide where her love and loyalties truly lie. The turbulent clashes of two disparate worlds and the destinies of the individuals caught between them spring to life in this magnificent novel of power and passion, loyalty and lies. And I do know this is the beginning of a series. That I think is such a good stack of books for a last month of vacation before school starts again. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. More videos coming from me this month, for sure. I'm just in summer mode and haven't wanted to film anything. And I will, I promise. In the meantime, you and I, we should go read.